Hello and welcome. Today's controversy is about a Netflix show called Baby Reindeer. Nata, who starts obsessively stalking him after he offers her tea for free at the pub he works at. Now, what's special about this show? It's these five words mentioned at the beginning that say this is a true story. This led the used in a tweet almost a decade ago directed towards the creator and the main lead of the show, Richard Gadd. And it was tweeted by a woman called Fiona Harvey who almost exists real life Martha. And Fiona started getting a lot of hate online and even death threats. Now, obviously, this caused a lot of distress to Fiona, and she decided to come out and go on air on an interview with none other than Piers Morgan, who is, I think, it's not a great choice if you want to clean your image, but whatever, she went on an interview with Piers Morgan on his channel Piers Uncensored, and there, along the course of the interview, she said some really bizarre things, and it led people to believe who were earlier just suspicious. It now led them to believe that she actually is the real life Martha. Fiona said things like, I didn't know he was a fucking psychopath. He made all this up. And I don't like little boys with no jobs. Now, she said all these things directed towards Gad and a few other very unkind, mean, and callous things towards not just Gad but Netflix and creators of the show and some other people who have accused her of stalking in the past. She also kept changing her statements, first saying she didn't send any emails, to then saying she might have sent around 10, which then changed to a handful, and finally she said it was definitely not 41,000. And a lot of other things. She first said she did not have Gad's number at any point of time, but when Pierce said that, are you challenging Mr. Richard Gadd to come forward with the evidence he has because he says he has the voice notes? She then said, no, I know it's definitely not that many voicemails, not in the hundreds. She first denied having ever written a letter to Richard, but then accepted that she wrote one letter to him. She also said he was making up the story about his sexual assault, which is extremely cruel and problematic. Her entire interview was like a trailer for season 2, and it made people even more suspicious than just the show. And a lot of people went through her social media accounts, her Facebook, Twitter, and other social media accounts, and a lot of people observed that she posts a lot. At one point of time, she would post up to 40 to 50 times on Facebook. That is a lot. That over the years could definitely add to 41,000. And a lot of her posts on Facebook were low key stalking people. Like, she would post pictures of random people on the street. It also has undertones of racism. Some people on Reddit also came forward to say that they have interacted with Fiona in real life and she is just like Martha. She is basically a Karen Pro Max. that they have interacted with Fiona and she's just like Martha. People were also speculating that Jessica's portrayal of Martha, of Fiona, was so on point that she must have had some material to go off of, and people are assuming it is those damn voicemails that Richard had saved and categorized like it shows in the show, and that is what Jessica had to help build her character as Martha, and she did an amazing job. Now, from what I could find online, Fiona has never been convicted and has never served jail time or pleaded guilty to stalking. But a lot of people's accounts online do seem like she has definitely done the things that are mentioned in the show to some extent. And Richard Gadd and the creators have come forward and said that this show is the emotional truth rather than a factual representation of the things that happened. And it is more about how Gadd felt throughout this ordeal. And he hasn't even portrayed Martha as a villain 100%. In fact, I think Richard Gadd has a lot of guilt associated with his sexual abuse trauma and other things, and he blames himself a lot for the bad things that happened to him. And that shows in his portrayal of Donny Dunn. And Martha is also portrayed as a deeply troubled individual, not necessarily an evil person. And Richard Gadd has said that he hopes she gets help. When Piers Morgan told Fiona that Gadd had said that I hope you get help, she flipped out and started calling him crazy. And like, she seems very unkind and very angry and bitter. She was also saying things like, he was the one who wanted to sleep with me and I rejected him, and very immature, childish, obvious lies. And honestly, it made her seem way more suspicious than just the show. And just her coming out and giving the interview is accepting the fact that she is Martha. And if she says any of the things that are mentioned in the show are not true, then she is not Martha, and why does she have to claim that identity if it's not her? That is my question. I think she's aiming to gain a lot of money from all this, and she has threatened to sue Gad and Netflix and creators of the show. I don't know if she will win this case, because if Gad has any proof like the emails or voice recordings, I think she's doomed. A few lawyers on the Piers Morgan channel did say that Richard did not do well enough in protecting her identity, but I feel he doesn't owe her protection. If she did the things he mentioned in the show, even if it's exaggerated, she's still a bad person and he doesn't owe her protection. And he said that he hid her name and the basics of her identity. He told people to not go look for her. I think that's enough. If someone's telling this painful of a story, I think he should have the freedom to express himself in the way he did, and he definitely doesn't owe Fiona any protection. She could have denied that she is Martha and not come on television and not give all these interviews and not threaten to sue. But she did because of money. She has even threatened, not threatened, She has said that she would ask Piers Morgan for £1 million because she was only paid £250 for the interview, and she said she would settle for 1 million. Now, all this is making her seem actually crazy, and it's taking away any doubt I had earlier in my mind that she isn't Martha. Please tell me in the comments what do you think about all of this, and if there's a legal case, who do you think has the upper hand? Thank you.